It's one of the ways in which Mr. Snellgrove that it goes all the way back to when I was a little boy, right? You can speak to your blue in the face, which means I can put all this visual mathematical information up there, right? And does it matter? Is it just a waste of time and energy because you're not creating anything brand new? Because the information that we're already putting up there has already happened. And to what benefit does it have to others? And so I'm reminded, for example, and I mentioned this many times, the relationship I have with my father, the golden rule. It's one thing to live it because you experience what the rule actually is, which is a law, which is the law of divine right order, divine right timing, and divine right balance. If you're living that, then you know that because we're experiencing that, because the experience is the former, which is the feedback in our mirror. Because we're going to experience it, because we're sensing that by what we feel at the completion of a magnetic circuit. So, for example, I've been in many hundreds. I can't even remember how many meetings that I went to with small groups, larger groups, speaker meetings in different places across the United States. People that come in there from all walks of life, men, women, children, teenagers, all across the spectrum, right? And so in Alcoholics Anonymous, we'll share in a group our stories, what I've experienced, how I arrived here, right? And so now those that have experienced having recovered, right, as a result of a spiritual awakening, I'm now experiencing the 12th sphere, right? The 144 spin points. I'm now in love and service to others. I've recovered what I've lost as a result of what happened. I've recovered. That's called a reclamation project, a salvage restoration mission. So they'll put the information up in a visual mathematical display, right? Like the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous. Your consciousness is reading what the book is informing us of all the experience that we've all had as a result of how we fall. And then there are some steps in which we can follow and apply those steps into our cellular, introspective, like intercellular self-examination, which is taking responsibility because we make a commitment to restore ourselves. So when we make a commitment to do that, that's where it's hard, but it's easy. It's hard, but it's easy. Everything's going to be okay because I'm with the one. The one is always with me. And over time, it gets better. It gets better. The accretion levels begin to rise. Now I'm experiencing more higher current. Greater activations. Accretion levels are rising. Now I'm remembering who I am before I fell. Thank you very much. Because we took the time, if you will. Those that are in those rooms have taken the time to do the work, the inner work, through their heart and their soul and the essence of their spirit. So you see, by virtue of the statistics that the Alcohol Anonymous, the AA office in New York, the home office, I don't know whether they're valid or not, but the last time that I was in an AA meeting and spoke to one of the secretaries of AA, there were only 2 out of 100 people that successfully recover their template, okay, to experience the 12th step, which is love and service to others that still suffer, which is healing, right? Because we have successfully allowed ourselves to heal ourselves by the relationship that we have with the first spirit, the first spiral, the first eternal star, the sacred son of one, the unicide, right? So that's why when I first began doing these videos, I put up the first qualifier, which is I am simply opening my record, which is my library, and sharing with all of you what it is that I've experienced by virtue of what I've learned through those experiences in order to recover what I lost. And that's what I share with you. But how anybody else translate that and how it relates on whether or not others are able to successfully rehabilitate their own template, their own spirit, getting their fire back and recovering the fragments that have been shattered, right? As a result of all the above, our ability, our own ability to do that. Because at the end of the day, we take full responsibility for our records, our journey, right? So that's why when I was a child, there's your journey and there's my journey. And they're not the same because I'm an original artist. So I'm in a creative mode. Creative engine is on fire because I'm experiencing pure, eternal, absolute love as a co-creator being in co-evolution, in co-peace, in co-love, and co-rhythm, which is breathing, divine right mathematical order, divine right timing, and divine right balance because of the one that I'm with. The one I'm with, the first one. So that, for me, that's easy to translate. But it's not up to me to decide how others react and whether or not they do the inner work, depending on what's going on in their life, right? You're on your own because there is a natural way in which the universe takes care of itself. It's much like out here on the property here when there is I have Alex who comes and picks me up every few weeks in one of the vans from the county of Hawaii to take us down as seniors, if you will, to pick stuff up that we need. And the property owner's out here with a bulldozer and chainsaws and a few other things, just cutting everything down to landscape it, to change the mathematical visual display. And I mentioned to Alex, I said, I don't do that stuff. The universe has a natural way in which it does the work for us. So I told him I spent most of my life in nature, out in forests, okay? So I'm not there to change the landscape. The landscape will take care of itself because the level of creative intelligence that is in operation, as in an operating system, knows what it's doing. So I implicitly trust the one on the sound and light burn patterns of creation that naturally takes care of itself. Its cells, the inner lungs, the inner child. Right? That's why when I'm around certain people and I'm if in their property as they define property, I'm not a private property being. I don't do that for memory reasons. Memory-driven programs based on deadlight programs, deadlight codes. Right? Remember, I'm giving everything away that's in my visual display because it's an illusion. Right? Phantom doesn't exist. It's not based on eternal, absolute, pure love, which is real light, which is natural living light, which is the natural living spiral of the first spirit. Let it go. Just let it go. Right? So you see how in this case, how I navigate through a field of consciousness by those that are held captive to those programs. Because that's what they are. They're programs. Right? Just like a bear out in the forest, an eagle out in the forest. Go talk to a bird sometime and ask him, what do you know about private property? Oh, it's private. What do you mean by private? Like a private in the army? You know, and so these are the differences on how we experience who it is that we are by virtue of what we're held captive to. Let it go. Particularly when it relates to healing and having a codependent relationship with an abuser. And that's what prompted this video, is when Mr. Snellgrove put up a picture of a female, right? Who's you can see she's worn out, like beat up, and she's got her arms around a male, and she's got arrows in her back, and he's got a bow in his hand. Now we can translate that a lot of different ways about the male dominance, full spectrum dominance over energy, but how that relates to magnets as that relates to gender, right? Because I've had a lot of, if you will, native spirits represented by the tribal bands, okay, that the male is supposed to protect. Remember, that's his seed. The male's the seed, plants the seed into a flower bed. Now the flower grows. Now we're going to grow more flowers, right? Flower essences, right? When the boy and the girl become one, when two magnets become one, right? Purifying the ground, purifying the water, purifying the scales, purifying the clouds, purifying the sky, purifying the energetic environment that we find ourselves in, to URTHA, heal us all with pure, eternal, absolute love for all life forms that are all sacred wherever we are. So yeah, Mama, it's as I used to say, it's a long road to hoe. Some girl put up on my Facebook page this afternoon, it keeps being beat up and beat up. That's what they do. That's what the consciousness does, to beat you up, 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 beat you up into submission. Submission, right? Submit, right? That's what they do. That's the nature of what they do. And then they put the collar and the chains on, right? Just like slave traders, right? And true to races, that's what they do. As the cognitive function informs us of, that's the nature of what their spiral does, right? They can't let it go, right? So now you're in the mirrors, and now you're into the abuser in the window. Black mirrors. Yep. And so it's a matter of letting go. That's why I got that signal a couple years ago. Let go, let it go, let go of it. I know, Mama. I'm navigating these issues. It's like I am running the divine right mathematical order, divine right mathematical timing. It will come in due time, in due mathematical order, in divine right timing. So y'all have a beautiful day. We love you all. Be good to ourselves.